Women are more expressive, I agree with that. But then the thing is more expressive always good?
Think that women expressing their emotion is their own way of controlling emotion. So you're welcome once again to another episode of No Cap, and this is of course the Expense community where we have honest conversation. I mean, still with us on this show. I mean, we've got two people here. It's just Ori and I today on the show. Yeah. So the sweet topic we have, we're just discussing about is I'm talking about Thierry men, guys who are probably more in tune with their emotions. So I think one of the reasons why I decided we could just, discuss about this is now the common situation in society nowadays is, finding that the society does not really appreciate, or let's not even say the society alone, but let's say ladies, for example, would not necessarily really appreciate a man who is teary, or let's say a man who is more in tune with emotions or cries, or let's just put it that at the table, who cries, So we understand that that's from a female perspective. That is, or let's say that might be what ladies would perceive the man to be. But now let's think about it from a man's man. You get, looking at a man who is teary, or a man who was probably more in tune with his emotions. So what would you think of such a man? What's your perception of such a man?
Well, firstly, I would say relationships most of the time are, what's the word? The narrative is controlled mainly by females, or
Okay.
or like it's mostly on their terms, in the sense that when things get serious, mostly she's the one that said, we should take it to the next level.
Yeah.
She's the one that brings up marriage first. The guy is just there, just living his life.
Chilling.
So she is the one that tries to bring up all this stuff.
Yeah.
So in respect to emotional intelligence and knowledge, it's also based off of the woman. Women are emotional beings. I would not say they are more emotional than men. They are extremely emotional.
Okay.
Very emotional. The way women handle emotions and the way men handle emotions are completely different.
Okay.
From my understanding, women, like if women face a situation, they will tend to want to resolve their emotions before continuing handling whatever situation they're in. On the other hand, a man can put their emotion aside. That doesn't mean he doesn't feel either the pain or the happiness or whatever it is, for the sake of finishing the goal at hand. So the way guys and girls handle emotions are different. But since the narrative and everything is most of the time based off the women, a guy who doesn't show as much or doesn't cry that often as ladies do, from the female perspective is seen as not to be in touch with his emotions.
Yeah.
But I am of the belief that men are more in touch with their emotion. Okay, no. Men have better control of their emotions
Okay.
than ladies.
Okay, but just to cut you short, sorry to cut you short. I wanted to chip in this. I think from my own point of view, my opinion is, I mean, understandably, we are all emotional beings.
Definitely.
That's why we have the intelligent quotient. We as well have the emotional quotient, emotional intelligence and all of those things.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because I think it's just obvious that ladies or women are always more in tune with, or more in touch with emotions, I mean, I don't want to see from the aspect of controlling, but I think it's also because women are more expressive, I think there's a point of women being more expressive, I mean, when it comes to emotions. But with men, there's a certain level of ego that comes with men. That's one of the reasons. I mean, one of the things I've seen with men, that we often find it very difficult to be emotional or to express our emotions because of social constructs, different social constructs. We are all emotional beings, do you get what I'm saying? But I do feel like there is an impact that social construct has to do with this. There is an impact ego has to do with this. But I wouldn't really say men are more in control of emotion, because what I feel, I'm looking at it from a female perspective. Let's even think from a female perspective. I do think that women expressing their emotion is their own way of controlling emotions. Let me give you an example. You know, just being objective with what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking in my head is, there's a place of people having different ways of managing thoughts or managing emotions. There are certain people who feel like expressing that emotion, it doesn't necessarily it doesn't necessarily have to be the toxic way or the chaotic way. Do you know what I'm saying? But I mean, just expressing that emotion could be their own way of controlling it so that it doesn't overwhelm them, it doesn't overcome them. And then there are also set of beings that would prefer to just keep it low, which is the bubble that we men often tend to find ourselves. So I think it's just because we have varying ways or approaches to how we, I mean, that's my opinion. Yeah, that's why I feel on how we control emotions.
Well, I agree with you on some of the stuff. I mean, men, okay, let me not say it's not a competition about who can control better.
Sure.
Men know how to control their emotion, and men are expressive too. Women are more expressive, I agree with that. But then the thing is more expressive always good? Not necessarily. There are sometimes, like, you have to think, me expressing this emotion, what am I, like, if let's say, I couldn't, maybe me and my baby were meant to do something, and for one or two reasons beyond my control, we were not able to do it. And then she comes and she tells me, I just feel like we could have done this, that. I already know. I know that she's not happy with the situation. But you repeating it to me, what is it going to change? You're just going to stress me. So in that point, what's the point of expressing it? It's not needed. So that's why I say, like, men, for instance, now, if something hurts me, I feel the hurt, but I know that, okay, maybe let me put my hurt aside and then finish what I need to do and all these things. So that's our own way of controlling. I don't really know how women control their emotions. I never thought of that. But yes, it's not about men can control more than women. But men are expressive, just that the way we express is different. Women need to understand that we are not just going to, if women caress, what's the word? Women, should I say pamper? I don't know what word to use, but they pamper their emotions. So that I just feel like, and then they want to focus on the feelings. If you're a guy, for instance, and he says, maybe your babe says, oh, I feel bad. And you say, why do you feel bad? I don't know, I just feel bad. And you give solutions to help her feel better. She wouldn't listen to those solutions. She just wants you to focus on that emotion and be enjoying herself in the moment.
I think it comes down to the psychological functioning of men and women.
Yes, that's why.
Just like we men would probably want to hold on to facts.
Yes.
And that's why a lady would say, oh, I'm feeling this. I'm like, you get what I'm saying? It's not about what you're feeling, it's about the fact,
Yes.
Or let's say someone tells you something went wrong. I know this is a common thing for we guys. We often want to see it from, but then you shouldn't be feeling this kind of pain. You get what I'm saying? I mean, you shouldn't be thinking like this.
Think about
this is the fact. This is what's happening.
It shouldn't hurt you. It shouldn't. True.
You get what I'm saying? But then it's. I think it's a very clumsy one because it now requires a level of understanding where a man has to say that, okay, I might be in touch with facts. A woman might be in touch with emotions. But then I do feel that when it now comes to relating to each other, we have to bring down ourselves to a level, not necessarily bring down, or let's say we need to make sure we align to being in touch with feelings.
We need to be in touch with her feelings. It doesn't need to be ours. Because
that's
our
exactly
feelings we're okay with our feelings. In those situations, I agree with you, like her saying, I feel like this.
Or understanding her feeling. Understanding her feeling.
Me being in touch with her feelings, understanding that just because I'm logical about it, she's not, and understand her feeling. But as a guy, we think differently, and ladies need to understand the issues. That idea of you need to cry more, you need to do more. Don't force me to do anything. So we do men go about and say, you guys should just shut the fuck up and be logical all the time. No, we understand. So they need to understand. So a man will cry. I've cried before. Every man has cried. You will cry now. Things happen. Crying is an expression of how you feel. It could be tears of joy, tears of sadness, tears of anything. But you cry. Situations might around that you cry. And sometimes it's not only like two people could lose their mothers now.
Yeah, that's right.
The one person will cry and the other person will just go into their room and be silent. So crying in itself is not something big.
But it's a way of expressing emotion.
It's a way of expressing, but there are other ways of expressing. So it's not just you must cry. Like if I cry, that means you know, because the way society feels now is like, oh, crying makes the situation bigger than it is.
Yeah.
Just because you are crying and me, I go to my
saying.
room and I'm just quiet about the whole situation, I might feel more hurt.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
because the way I express is different.
So we
need to understand like there are different. We can cry,
approaches to it.
You can be silent.
You can even communicate with people.
You can talk about.
Because that was what I was going to say.
You can get angry. So there are a lot of things. So it's not just about crying. Men express their ways in different. Express their emotions in different ways. Some cry, and it's okay to cry. But it's not about what are you crying about. That's the thing.
I think for me, but I mean, if you don't mind, we could bring in some personal experiences. For me, when it comes to managing my emotions or how do I express them, I think one way I always express them is talking. It's either I'm talking to my friends, I mean, talking to you guys, I mean, you know this well. I mean, I'll prefer to talk to you guys about, or better, I'll just go straight to the gym. Because I feel if I, sometimes even after communicating or talking to friends, it would relieve a bit, but we know that the pressure is still there, the weight is still there, and I just want to let off some steam. I'll just head off straight to the gym. And
another thing is men are more understanding. If you feel a certain way, you understand why you feel that way. You understand the reality of that situation. You understand that sooner or later it might get better, or it might not, or you need to do this and this. So you console yourself in your understanding of what needs to be done, and you'll be like, although I feel like this, but once I do this, it might get better. You talk to your guys and they will encourage you.
That's right.
And another reason why sometimes maybe ladies might think we are not in touch with our emotions or we don't talk about it that much is because we don't talk to them about it.
Oh yeah.
We would rather talk to guys.
That's it. It was bubbling in my head. Sorry to cut you short. I was going to ask the question because we'll come back to the question of what's our opinion on a guy that is teary. We'll come back to that. But then I was going to ask you, who do you think even understands more when when a guy cries? Is it guys that would understand better, or a lady or a woman that would understand better when
guy?
Why?
A guy. Your fellow man understands. Because we are thinking based on understanding. We're not going to react to that situation emotionally.
Yeah, but then we'll be thinking about facts. So when we see, for me, not necessarily for me, I've seen some guys that when we see, or let's say for most of the times for women, when we see guys or other guys weeping, we tend not to understand that aspect of they weeping or crying because we're trying to hold on to fact.
No, true. The guy understands. If we tell the guy, like, why are you weeping? He's not going to be like, oh, you're not caring about my emotions. He's going to understand because he is also holding on to the fact. Sure. Despite the fact that he's weeping doesn't mean he doesn't understand. Okay. He's just letting the emotions out. Okay. So, yes, let him express, let him let the emotions out, and then talk to. There are some times now your fellow guys will tell you, like, I understand this, but you need to do this. Yeah. But then, and you're like, true, I understand. And they would encourage you. They know that you need to do this, but then sometimes they let you rest first. That's right. Regain yourself, but you need to do what you need to do. Yeah, a man, and that brings me to the point of the societal construct. Yeah. And I think I'm okay with it. I mean, maybe at some point it was too extreme. Don't talk about your feelings. I don't know. You need to talk. You need to express it. We feel. The thing is just you need to understand. Like. There's a lot of responsibilities on men. Yeah. Like, look, if you have a family, you have wife, you have children, your mom dies, your wife's mom dies, your child, something happens to your child, a traumatic situation happens to your child. And out of the three, who has the most responsibility to ensure that everybody is okay? It's you now. Yeah, that's right. Which time will you have to grieve your mom? Which time will you have to grieve all those, or to express those things? You are there trying to make your wife feel better. And trying to, make your son, help your son go over those things. There is no time for you to sit down and start saying, I just feel. No, it's not because we don't feel. It's not because we don't want to talk about it. But there are responsibilities. This has to be done. So it means you might have to put those things aside. Or you talk to yourself. Me personally, if I feel something, I tell myself. And I think a lot of other guys are like that. When I feel, I'm like, to be fine. And I just push on. That's it. That's what it means to be a man. I don't men are not. We are not going to be sitting down and be saying. Do you think we should suggest that men should be more expressive in regards to emotion? Not necessarily. It's not everybody that. I do think we. Not everybody that needs to express. I know we don't all have to express, but I do think men have to be. We need to learn to be more expressive. And the reason why I say this is this. Now, it's more like a win-win situation.
Now, the reason why I always advocate for men to be more expressive is number one, it helps to take away from us unnecessary pressure.
True.
And weight. Second is it also helps us to understand the perspective of the opposite sex or the opposite gender being expressive with their emotions. Because it brings us to a particular level of also being not necessarily like other people, but for us as individuals, we get to a level of being in touch with emotions. So when we see other people expressing their emotions in whatever way they want to do it, we understand. We don't see it as being maybe let's say uncalled for. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think guys express, although yeah, we can learn to express more, but I think
I feel we don't believe it.
If you look at,
I think we don't really express ourselves.
I've observed people, even myself, I've watched videos and all, and I say that sometimes when they express, like me, if I express myself once, and then maybe you're my babe, and then you're focusing on one word that I use, you're telling me why did I say it in this particular, I will not even talk to you again.
Okay.
Like, you are just focus on the main thing. Stop straying away because of. So most of the time they focus on irrelevant things. I'm not focusing on this. I need you. Another thing is the way they handle this thing. They handle it emotionally rather than logically. That we needed to. Like look now, like we said earlier, ladies want that we are in touch more with their emotions, and a lot of guys you see that is understanding because the guy naturally would find a solution to it. Right. Or you see most guys, they are telling their babe, oh, it's okay, it's going to be fine, because that's what the babe wants. We don't need you to say it's okay or that person is a bitch. No, that person is not a bitch. What he said was necessary, but it's hard, it hits me, and I just need to take a moment to.
Right.
I need you to just understand.
Yeah.
I don't need you to start playing on the words, how I expressed it, or making my expression of my feelings come back to you and you'll be like, oh, so you think I'm this? You think I'm acting like this? Why would you say that? I'm like, you know what, just leave me alone. It's better I don't even tell you.
Exactly.
But that's why we talk more to guys. So it's not like we don't talk, it's who we talk more to.
But then, ladies are also advocating that men should be more expressive rather than bottling it up.
No, we are not. We don't bottle up.
I think we do. Say yeah.
I don't. Well,
I think we men bottle things a lot.
We bottle things
too much.
Is it too much? Is it too much? Men, I think the thing is, men are more understanding. So, like me, if someone says something to me, let's say I'm in let's say I'm in an argument with someone, and the guy says something that is not okay. I won't be happy. I would tell him, but I understand that it came out of a place of that argument.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it. So
that's right.
I'm not going to get all fussy and start expressing why you do all those kind of things. I'm more understanding. So the understanding has helped me to relieve the situation. So I don't need to express anything. Later, my guy talk to me like, bro, I don't like the way you talk though.
That's right.
This. So when I'm understanding, first of all, we don't just consider the moment. We consider every angle to it and come into a rational conclusion of the situation. And then we take some time before we express, because if we express in the moment, we might say stuff. But a lot of ladies sometimes they express in the moment. That's why some people think like, oh, this person is crazy. Why you say? Because you're expressing, you don't take a time to reflect.
But then I think it boils down to, I don't want to say it's necessarily ladies or men. I think it boils down to different individuals. You know what I'm even thinking? I'm thinking from the place of, just to go on the side a bit, out of the box a bit. Individuality, or let's say people's personal attributes or personal disposition tend to also play a role in this. Definitely. So for example, a person who has, been brought up in a particular environment that has portrayed responding in such an aggressive way.
True.
That becomes a pattern.
Definitely.
You can understand. And a person who has been probably brought up in an environment that has portrayed, being careful, being responsible, being careful with words. I was having a discussion this morning, and I was talking about the fact that, I was asking a question that, does the person think my jokes are too huge, or are they too hard, or not necessarily harsh, but let's say
the words are like hard,
or maybe it seems too tough to wrap the mind around. I was like, No, it's just about me. They just want. I mean, I just need to be myself. Do you get what I'm saying? So sometimes we need to be very careful. To be responsible with our words, even when we desire to express ourselves. It's important to check out the words. Do you get what I'm saying?
There are people too who come up in an environment where they don't even talk at all. So for them, they just handle everything inside and not express. So it boils down to individual.
And that's why I said we men often need to start expressing ourselves, because we often don't want to express those things. We bottle them. And the reason why I'm saying this is this. There's this particular trending stuff now of trending thing of mental health. And I realized that this part of we men, or let's say the way we've been brought up as men, or the society as well, we just want to keep handling it by ourselves. And I feel, it's not always the appropriate thing. We can always share with people, express with our friends, even with ladies as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be our girlfriend or our babe, but just to be really expressive, rather than bottling those things. And there's ego. That's the funny thing. That's one thing I feel that women as well need to work on, because that's ego. There's a place of ego, there's a place of influence. Ego of I don't want to be seen as being weak. I don't want to be seen as, believe me, a lot of men don't want to express themselves because they don't want to be seen as being weak. They don't want to be seen as not being man enough.
That is not ego. That is social construct. When you express yourself,
it's ego as well.
It's not ego, because when you express yourself, and people will be like, you're expressing yourself too much.
What's the ego? Because we want them to pamper our ego.
No. I understand. I think it's a thin line, because there are some people that actually do want to express themselves more.
Yeah.
But when they express themselves that they are significant other things, they're expressing themselves too much. And then they are feeling like, you're not a man. You're not a man. So he stops. So that is not about his ego in that. And that brings me to another point is the perception from your babe now. Okay. If I express as much as my babe expresses, she's going to think I'm her girlfriend. That I'm not, because that's the thing. They just expect what they say is different from what they do. They expect in their mind that you be the man, and what does that mean? That is what society knows as you being the man, being able to suck it all up and handle it. But then they're telling you talk. But when you talk, they'll be like, just handle it now. Okay. Sometimes they even belittle your feelings when you express.
But then,
like you the phrase now, like, aren't you a man? Can't you just handle it?
Oh, okay. I know that phrase. Are you not a man?
So it's not just about men expressing more. There's a lot that has to be done from both sides.
Definitely.
From both sides.
Definitely from both sides. Yeah.
Because it's okay as a man to cry. It's okay to be silent. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to. You need to express yourself. The thing is, we don't need to express ourselves unnecessarily. Know how to express yourself. There are a lot of things you can handle. When you need to talk to your girlfriend or talk to your partner. And I think another thing, people need to let their partner know, this is what let your partner know, this is what I need from you.
Sure.
Like, I don't need any emotional stuff. If you need emotional, you say I need emotional. If I need you to just listen and be logical, then listen and be logical. Just like the lady to let her guy know, I don't need you to start giving me solution. Just listen, give reassurance, and comfort. That way, and if the ladies are able to do that, it will be easier for guys to express to their ladies how they feel. Because guys feel a lot of things. It's not like we want to bottle it up. Society has made you bottle it up. You bottle it up. When you want to express, you express to your guy, but you can't express that much to your guy all the time. Because we're all going through different stuff. The only person you have that is so intimate with you that should be able to listen to you all the time is your babe. So you need to be able to talk to your babe and demand what you need so that she can create that safe space.
That's right. Safe
for
space.
you to talk. And then it's not like talking every time, like today, so I want to do something. I just feel tomorrow, I just feel no, all those rubbish. And from the guy's part, that's not how you need to. Maybe once in a while, maybe something happened and you come, okay, so this is what happened. This is how it made me feel. And I think. So
I also feel maturity plays in this as well.
True.
Because, like we said, safe space would also enable the man to express himself better, or men to express ourselves better when we find a safe space. So just like, let's say we've got friends, partners, or family members that have given us that environment of, you can always open up to us in case there's something wrong. We find it easy. We would definitely find it easy, to express ourselves. However, when it now comes to, let's say, the level of maturity, that also influences.
Definitely.
Just like what you said, there are people, because probably they're still quite young or not, or maybe people are just like that, something happens to them and they're running back to you. It's like, oh, I feel this, I was this, was that. Or it now seems like the person is, constantly or persistently complaining. Maturity now comes in play.
Sure.
There are people who would necessarily not come in that approach, but then I feel that it's important that we come to a level where we can find it easy to express ourselves. I always even encourage that women be more expressive. It would be really helpful. A lot of people will fall out of depression. A lot of people will be able to, take up those unnecessary weights that we put upon ourselves, and let's just enjoy life. And the problem is this. I think it's also because we are fallen into too much of expectation and judgmental opinions from the public, or from social media, or from the society, and then we always just want to do things that are in alignment with society. I know society would require us, because we are part of the society. There is a place of the individual setting, there's the group setting, which is all about the society. We need to attach ourselves to certain society. We need, as humans, we need the association. But it doesn't now mean that the society now becomes the ultimatum, or let's say the ultimate director of the way we live our life. We always need to think about our own standpoint, what fits us, or what is appropriate to us, our circumstance, rather than just being blown off by every wind of opinion or perspective that comes on social media. So I think for me, it wouldn't be bad if I see more men being expressive. I mean, like I do say, if you want to cry, man, cry, bro. Just cry. If you feel that's the easiest for you, cry. If you feel you want to talk to someone, please just do the talking. That's what I always feel. That's why. Because I had to consciously learn this. I'm a very tough person as well. I would find it very difficult to cry. But on losing, let me give you an example. Yeah, on a personal story. On losing someone who, a loved one, it was very difficult. As much as it was painful. Because of my natural self, I would hold back. I was holding back, but then I knew I had that. It was until after a while, if I think about it, then I start tearing up. But at that particular time, my natural instinct was coming into play. Like I was holding back. But then after a while, I just need to think about it, and then boom, I'm so teary. You get what I'm saying? So,
I agree with you. Every single thing you said. We need to learn to express more. The only thing I would say is, don't express unnecessarily. When you feel like, okay, I feel I need to express, I'm feeling
and express responsibly.
Express. And it's something you learn. You can't just expect that you just express and you express well, especially when you're with your partner. At the beginning of the relationship, you learn over time, you get to understand your partner better.
That's right.
You get to know how to be mindful of your words. And be more sensitive to what your partner needs.
Yeah.
And gradually expressing to your partner becomes better and easier. Because that should be the person, your safe space. Obviously, there's a place for your guys where you talk to them and all. So just express. When you need to express.
Right.
If you don't need to express, then don't
just
let it be. It's not about
it's not
talking
a compulsion.
Too much in Yes, that's the thing. So we need to talk more. We need to learn to express more, not to hold everything up. So,
all right. So I think we're just gonna bring it to a close now. All right. So remember, it's still the EXPANSE community. Please remember to subscribe. Comment as well. We need your comment. Give us your own opinion on what you think of men who are teary. You see men who weep or cry or something, who are more expressive. What are your opinions, or what are the experiences you've had? Share with us. Drop your comment, like, share, and subscribe. And definitely, we're going to be seeing you on our next episode.